Mars is still there if they want to go for it. Yuma Wraith King. Okay, that's a different way to take it, but honestly, super solid pick. That's your second man in, and that's also a hero to play with the puck in that mid game. At least he's going to be able to show up to these fights. Not a lot of wave clear, but that's where the puck and the collar are definitely going to keep this Wraith King at least defending his towers a little bit longer.
Yeah, and that gives Yuma that sort of active initiating kind of hero that he really does love to play. The blink on a Wraith King means could punish the likes of the Bane and the Mirana, maybe even the Storm Spirit if they're in the wrong spot. So not a bad pickup there, and there's a little bit more jump for the Hokori lineup as well as they get the clock into their hands.
Yeah, it's honestly like these heroes a lot from Hokori. Now, when the puck is scared, you can still make the team fight happen. You can still throw bodies at these heroes. Clock versus both Bane and Storm Spirit is a little bit tricky. You have to be a little bit careful because you do drop the ball. Well, you're basically melee creep. You're not really a great hero aside from that, but there's the Pit Lord.
Okay.
Okay, that's annoying. It's not Mars, but I think both teams, again, were probably looking at this hero, and I think, unfortunately, you gotta favor DogChamp a little bit. I'm really surprised that this was actually kind of falling into their hands here, whereas both Puck and Storm Spirit hate playing versus the Pit Lord, and yet again, I think DogChamp are getting this kind of death ball rolling already.
Yeah, the Underlord just does so much in terms of longer term control of the area, right? So if Puck and Clockwork want to throw themselves face first into the fight, they're free to do so. They're going to be doing so directly into that Pit of Malice play. So, as you said, kind of strange that it was still there, but if you're DogChamp, you'll take it. And now, well, now if you're Hokori, you need to be worried about this carry position, right? Stonebank still has plenty of options. They were at least able to secure their own carry first, so they don't have to worry about what they get for Yuma, but now they have to worry about that sort of 1v1 matchup in terms of making sure the Wraith King just doesn't get outplayed.
Yeah, I'm just happy they banned out the Ursa. Stonebank Ursa, man. Everybody's got to be scared of it now. It's so fun to see all that respect now put on his lap, just because he had what feels like 4 fantastic games on the hero at that late stage of the group stage, and then now everybody's just got to be a little bit more scared of the Stonebank Ursa than they were before. But yeah, honestly, at the same time, like the Visage ban, I like it a lot. We've been seeing Visage as pretty much your one-to-one counter versus the Miranas that have been getting picked up, versus both Mirana and Io and Bane, to be honest. That hero is just so obnoxious. You just cannot really play. You're scouted out. You're getting your spells blocked. It's so obnoxious. I think that's a really good ban. A ban that usually we don't see this late into the game. Usually they don't have enough space for it in the draft, but Hokori certainly still have that movement right now. If they are looking for arguably a Vitali hero here, then that would have slotted in perfectly for him. Don't think we're going to be seeing the Vitali Broodmother. Yeah, they ban out Viper, but hey, that's always a threat. He's always the micro offlaner that you always have to think of in the back of your brain. And SK it is. There you go.
Not the flashiest pick in the world for them, but it gets them a little bit of really kind of everything that they need. So, oh, Sand King into the lineup, and now if you're DogChamp, what is going to be the call in terms of their carry right now? There's still some kind of illusion-based carries in here, but it feels like Hokori have pretty substantial amount of sort of AoE damage to work with. So
Now, anti-mage, I hazard to say, there's I feel like there's a hole. I think really the only thing DogChamp are thinking right now is Stonebank. Let's be real. Do we have time for you to get a Battle Fury in this game? Do we have time for you to do this? Because if you look at it on paper, right? SK lane can't lane versus anti-mage. Wraith King doesn't want to play versus an anti-mage. Puck gets mana voided. Coddle gets mana voided. Clockwork's really the only thorn in your side in this game, and then it's just time basically for DogChamp here. Time that honestly they kind of have. This Pit Lord has kind of closed out a lot of the issues that I think they previously had here, and I do think that is the discussion being had right now. It is, do we want a hero, let's say, flip the script like the Terrorblade, where you can certainly get bursted, but you build a Scotty, you build a BKB a little bit more naturally. You're more of a team fight carry, or do we slam it?
oh. Or we could pick Alchemist, yeah. That's they're having a very different conversation in their Discord call compared to ours, but well, I I don't really know how to feel about that, ET. The Alch's been getting picked up a little bit more often, but the results have been I don't know, a little sporadic. You don't always get the same sort of production out of the Alk depending on the team and the situation.
Hey, we see looks cool.
That is a cool
Got the
set.
nice set, yeah. But yeah, we'll have to see. Well, if you were ever worried about getting outpaced, Stonebank's there. Stonebank will be a lot more farmed in this game, and uh, it is that team fight carry. It's one of the two styles they could have gone for if he wasn't going to be comfortable farming. Well, now he's going to be comfortable farming and fighting because you are Alchemist. You break the rules with this hero, and it will kind of allow you to become that initiator, hopefully. We'll have to see if he does go for the Battle Fury, if we do see him perhaps turn around and try the Radiance build, because honestly, Radiance seems pretty nice in this game, just because of the way it stacks up versus Yuma. With all that evasion, you could certainly get quite annoying on that Alchemist, especially when it comes to getting bursted down, but it is a very different hero. Don't think I've seen Stonebank play it all too much in this tournament as well. It feels more like that cheese pick, but that's why DogChamp selected second pick, right? If they were ever going to look for that, we win the game no matter the situation hero, then this is what it's going to be.
See how it goes. If you're Hokori, doesn't really matter who your opponents picked in this situation. This is a do or die, win or go home kind of game. Down 0-1 in the series, elimination on the line. So they kind of knew they were going to have to bring their A game no matter what, but I don't know if they were expecting an Alchemist being the hero that they would have to deal with. So it is going to present some challenges for them, but if they want the run to end, they're going to have to make some further adaptations here. So see what they have in.
Yeah. And honestly, looking back at the anti-mage pick, maybe Stonebank is traumatized in the AM versus Wraith King matchup specifically. I remember a few Stonebank anti-mages just getting thwarted by that. Just not fun sometimes, but get enough space, on paper it's okay. This ward though sees all.
That should not be allowed. That can't be a real actual surface, but whatever. The sentry down there, they de-ward their side camp, so Analog's going to have that available to himself if he...
Wow. You see this the sentry range? It doesn't hit.
Oh my god, it doesn't. Well, that's a bit of a bummer, but can't win them all, I guess, so gonna have to deal with that vision. And did they just actually throw their own down here? Yeah, they put a ward under the vision of the first ward from the Hokori side, so might be able to get a quick D ward in that situation, but I don't know. We'll see here. The puck does have the sentry in his hand, so if he's able to push this wave out, he could go for it early, maybe just get that little bit of extra gold on Ryoya by taking the obs out.
Yeah, and hey, it basically means you get to skip 2 last hits, right? It's honestly a lot of tangible gold that you'll certainly use in this matchup. At the same time, though, not like it's going to be the end of the world. This is more or less a farm-oriented lane. Not as much as the Coddle per se, but it is definitely a lot less you can do for both sides here. It does just become a game of who can farm their small camp faster. It's a race to level 6, effectively.
Analog, for now at least, winning that race. He's got a tiny little edge in terms of the experience over Ryoya, but not really sure we're going to see too much here, as he does get that sentry down and going to be able to find that D-ward. Meanwhile, up top, Amisho finds first blood. Tali's able to set him up with the Burrow Strike that allows him to get out the Illuminate charge, and, well, Stonebank may be okay on the Alchemist, but the Bane is a Bane, obviously. Not a lot of HP to survive that burst.
Yeah, and as we always talk about with Banes, you want to be in the face of your opponent, you want to be obnoxious. I think just playing off of that aggression, just a little bit too smart. Nice dodge, though, every once in a while. And they've been good with the range creep denies, actually, here. They've gotten, I think, at least 2 just because they have been going for the kills as opposed to just purely playing on the creep waves here. But it's where B9 has to be a little bit careful. And, oh, boy, it's happening again. With body
Same
blocks, could be
combo.
another kill. Nope, no body blocks.
He was able to get the Brain Sap out there as well, so that gives him a little bit of extra health to work with, and yeah, you don't kill him that time. The problem is, for Hokori, this combo's there, all hours of the day, really. This entire laning stage, they're just going to be able to sort of make that exact maneuver at will. Only thing that can really stop it is if Stonebank wants a point in the unstable concoction, which really know if that's a build that he wants to go for right now.
No, it's definitely not. It's also where, though, I'm very surprised that Hokori have not played more so to contest the small camp. And I think it is because Vitali can very easily farm it. But with a hero like the Alchemist who just constantly pushes in the wave, well, they farm the small camp. They get levels that way. They get their XP that way. And then suddenly the Bane is ready to make those trades happen even more. It's where you do wonder what's the efficiency, what's the level of efficiency coming out from both these sides as Amisha takes a step out to actually get that stack going. And very wisely, Bloody Nine does the same, but also secures the boundary rune, so Amisha's going to come up dry.
And as you said, he was at least able to get in here and sort of stack up one of those camps. Drops a ward, actually, on his way out here as well. So if you have a situation where Ryoya tries maybe an early rotation into the jungle, it is going to get spotted out, and it'll give Analog maybe a little bit more of a feeling of comfort. Don't really know if it would lead into any actual aggression, but yeah, knowing where the storm is at all times is certainly going to make Hokori feel much better in the lanes.
No, definitely will. And you get to scout out anything that is actually getting stacked up here, but yeah, this is the problem a little bit here. If Vitalia ever wants to cut in behind the creep wave, try to steal it or take it away, it's where Bane is the hero. It is the perfect hero for dealing with that outcome here. We'll see if B9 actually gets this. I think the Skeletons actually ended up body blocking the Trolls, so he doesn't get the aggro hit off. But at the same time, the longer they can keep this SK in the lane, the more successful it is. And Bloody Nine has not really been taking all that much XP. Even though he's level 3, it's just from the 2 or 3 pulls he's been able to get off of. So Stonebank's going to get his level 6, and then, well, any pressure that you maybe could have put on is not going to exist.
Potential downside is that Vitali is finding some solo levels for himself, with El Misho kind of making that trip into the river and towards the middle lane, but I feel like if you're DogChamp, Stonebank getting levels is going to be far, far more important, and now look to potentially get a kill here. They get the Nightmare in to that unstable concoction. Vitali, though, in with the Burrow Strike is I kind of break that play up. Now he'll turn around for the Illuminate. Stonebank's got to be, well, aware of that damage. Maybe not sort of careful, because he's still got plenty of health himself, but want to necessarily overextend, but he also wasn't willing to give up that stacked camp.
Yeah, of course not. He actually got pretty lucky there with the acid spray ticks. I think he got all of the trolls with it. Something quite nice for the Alchemist, but hey, that's for Puck coming in.
Coil's ready. Fortunately, they don't have El Misho right now, but they're not going to need him. They still find the kill. Gardic, ends up sort of being sacrificed on the other side of the map as Yarn was able to find that, but you will take that trade. You got the kill onto the Alchemist, you slow up his progress quite nicely, and it's exactly what Hokori sort of need here moving forward.
Yeah, no time wasted. He gets his level 6, he TPs, he makes a kill happen. Unfortunately, that does mean that Ryoya kind of has nothing to be scared of now, at least immediately. And Gardic does refill up Analog's bottle in the mid lane, but it's where we do have to wonder, what are we going to do with Ryoya? Are we going to play that waiting game? He's getting his bottle refilled as well. Everybody's just a nice support today. But how we actually see those kills happen is going to be super important, as top gets taken down, just is too low, doesn't have a tanky item either. Maybe it was on the courier there. He had a soul ring on the courier, and just kind of goes down in an ugly way on the SK.
Tried to cut his way through the trees and, well, I was going to say he almost made it. That really wasn't true. B9 was sort of on it, but at least made him work for it a little bit. Speaking of potentially working for it, Gardic able to win the foot race against Yarn for the bounty, but doesn't really seem like there's a whole lot Gardic can do to follow that up. Yarn, on the other hand, take a look at him. He's got himself an urn already, so this could be a nice sort of way for the Miranda to start sort of rolling and getting a little bit of momentum. Of course, Yarn's got to first set up any sort of kill to get the urn charges in the first place, and haven't really been able to see too much of that just yet.
Oh my goodness, Ryoya, he just dodged the Dream Coil in the stacked camps there. Stacked camp that Analog was kind of slowly taking, as they are pretty much just right there. They're very low, but that was completely blind. Dodges out the Dream Coil. That's your first whiff of the game, I guess you could say, but it's very unfortunate. At the same time, though, Vitali is going to take this stack, though. He can actually exist here pretty much forever. He's going to take all of this farm, really start to accelerate now.
Gotta be careful. His HP is a little bit low, but he should be just fine. Meanwhile, Yuma, well, you're gonna try for this. They get the Vortex into the arrow. Starstorm's there as well. Speed gets pushed back by the cogs, but Ryoya's still able to find the first kill. The question is, can they get Yuma a second time? Little bit iffy right now, but actually they're rushing TPs in. They don't want to give this one up. They know Yuma is a little bit low, so the reinforcements arrive. Can they get anything in exchange? Analog pushing forward. Elmisho's going to channel out that Illuminate, and that does get them the kill as speed goes down. And Yaren? That is an unreasonable amount of greed. Leaps in to try to finish off Gardic and leapt into basically 4 heroes, so trying to do a little bit too much there on the Mirana, and Hokori, they handle that quite nicely. That is Reincarnation, put on a very long cooldown at level 1 ET, but 2 kills and Yuma lives.
Yeah, I just think an overextension, no control from the pit either. Not that Speed should have the pit just yet, but that was honestly, kills without coil. That was all just spells being spammed yet again. This Coddle making it so much easier to play a lot of these heroes. And yeah, it's attention driven away from the Alchemist, but honestly, it doesn't really matter. The Alch's going to get what he wants at this stage. Maybe if you want to contest his stacked camps, that's really all you could kind of put out here. And he does have a stacked camp. This Ancient is very, very strong here. Yarn might look to stack it one more time, but seeing Stonebank farm this, it's going to be a little bit painful. This is not going to be the fastest. It's going to take probably 2 or 3 acid sprays.
Progress will be steady, but it sure as hell won't be fast. Meanwhile, Fiend's Grip from B9 onto Vitaly in the top lane. Yep, that sure was a Fiend's Grip. Not really a whole lot to follow it up, though, as now Analog's going to come in, and B9, it's time to go. Analog doesn't want to commit the ult, and I think he realized, yeah, that Ryoya was making his way over. Vitaly, though, is in a little bit of danger. He is going to buy a lot of time, though. They get the knockback to actually snap the coil, so Ryoya continued to be locked down. It's going to turn into a 2-for-1 there. I mean, kind of surprised they really got much of anything out of that other than the Sand King just getting away from the initial gank, but this is twice now that DogChamps have maybe just tried to do a little bit too much with a play, and they end up getting punished for it.
Yeah, they just play into it, and it's a fantastic blinding light from Elmisho. If that snap doesn't happen, you probably see the zip away. Analog was tapped of spells effectively, but because of that stun, the cooldowns just barely match up perfectly. And now Analog is pretty much looking at his Witchblade, and then suddenly your puck doesn't really have that damage issue that you usually have. Really, today has just been teams so effectively using this Keeper of the Light. It's a scary hero, man. I don't know if we should see it first phase banned out, but seeing it take it up so consistently is a little bit worrying, to be honest. But hey, if you're DogChamp, even though that doesn't pan out for you, don't get a rune either for Ryoya, you still have this Alchemist farming, and Stonebank, he got the Relic. He's ready to farm. Once he has that Talisman of Evasion, you know he's going to want to get active. Every item timing is so important on the Alchemist here, as Gardic looks like he might be the one eating this. Actually just got the hook.
Okay. Well, yep, yeah, never mind. B9 hits him up with a Nightmare. They find the pick. While that was happening, Speed pushed with the Siege Creep and took a tier 1. So DogChamp able to sort of swing things back in their favor, at least net worth-wise, and those are the kind of plays that you want. Have Ryoya and Speed get aggressive on the map, allow Stonebank to farm in peace until he is ready to go, and on the Hokori side of things, this kind of feels like the best response that they could go for right now. They're going to try and take a tower while 3 members of their team will smoke up and look for some sort of pick play here, but they got a long way to go to find someone, and the closest heroes are Ryoya and Yarn, who both have presumably enough mobility where you should not take them by surprise.
Yeah, and, well, it is a little bit awkward. They lose their top tower really because they don't want to bring the pit or top just yet. Without the mana on the Storm Spirit, it's a little bit scary, but this is, yeah, the blank reveal. They didn't know about it. They make that jump thinking that he's going to be safe here, and with Speed snapping the coil, they know exactly where he is. The vision gets placed, and oh, wow, that is just a really unfortunate turn of events there. I thought they were going to get out, but just stick around.
Man. Yeah, they didn't see the blink before they went in. Ryoya zipped just short enough where he actually zipped it directly into the cog pushback that allows that blink burrow to sort of come into play after, and man, DogChamp just I'm not entirely sure that that one's just on them making a mistake. It's just kind of unfortunate that the positioning and the timing both go against them.
Well, as that happens to Wooden Arrow, lands on Gardic in the mid lane, gets pulled into it by the Vortex. Well, that's your Storm, though. You know, you die, you respawn, you TP to a tier 1 tower, you kill here on the other side of the map. It's really Primal Beast 1.0 at this point. Now that here is a little bit taken back, but, well, you never walked out. Unfortunately, though, uh, with those kills being given up, it's honestly been a lot of time, and we've talked a lot about Stonebank farming, but Yuma's been finding pretty much everything by his own in this triangle. Hasn't really been slowed down. Has unfortunately been giving maybe a little bit of farm over to the Alchemist just by nature of the skeletons pushing out those lanes, but it's where you do wonder where this breaking point is going to be in the game. We're kind of just farming up, waiting for a lot of our big items. The Vitaly Blink, of course, was huge, but it's where I think on the DogChamp side, you're going to want to do something with the Atos BKB timing. I think the Atos is going to be done maybe a little bit sooner here on speed, but once you get BKBs, the game is kind of blown wide open for you. Hokori can't really do much post that timing, aside from wait for them to be done or get you before you get them off, but it's where I think Hokori, they need to constantly find these kills. And with everything coming back up, this is a very nice smoke. They claim the hill. Anybody walking up here, I think Yarn might bite it.
Silence, stun, easy kill. Not a bad play at all there if you're Hokori, but as you said, they cannot afford to take their foot off the gas. They need, well, they need more. They need more picks. They need more space. They need a few more pushes onto these towers as well, but at least that's a step in the right direction for them.
And, ooh, Analog's on the hunt. They use so little for that kill on the Mirana. Oh, B9. It's a nice TP.
No.
Vitaly! He short blinked. Oh, no. Oh, that was their kill.
Oh, boy. Yeah, as you said, the blink was a little bit too short. Well, actually, I was going to say he could have tried for the burrow anyway, but I don't think he would have had the distance with level 3 instead of level 4, so... Well, I don't know. On the one hand, it's a Bane kill, so if you don't get it, it's not the end of the world, but it's free money that you sort of left on the table, so not exactly what Hokori were looking for, especially considering, as you said before, they need to be the team that continues to push the pace.
And it is time. Stonebank is about to get his BKB delivered. This is the classic break the game on a Radiance BKB. Maybe it's, you know, a minute later than Ana probably would have gotten, but this is where if they take a fight right now, Hokori will lose it. It's where Stonebank is finally ready to make this push into the mid tower, and with the 15-minute cart, even though your Kano is trying to be annoying here, it's whether or not you can find that situation where you actually want to dive in, or if this is just the call to sack. They could probably kill Stonebank, though, if they get him before, but they need to all get him.
Oh, there's the BKB, though. Stonebank's just going to turn this around. Vitaly gets stunned up by that concoction, pulled in by the Vortex. And, well, that is very unfortunate for El Misho, because he itemized in the exact way he needs to do what he can against Stonebank. The problem is, yeah, BKB just removes all of the Keeper of the Light's contributions. You can't really do much more than that if you're looking at El Misho.
Yeah, and maybe if they just feel a little bit more confident to actually make that jump as... Ooh! Gardic should go down here. I think Analog, yeah, he's going to be fine, but you either go all in and you jump with everything, or you don't jump at all, and I think they didn't make that distinction fast enough, because for a while there, it felt like Stonebank was pretty killable, and that was before the 15 talent as well, before he had the 350 health, so he was only sitting at about 2,000 HP with 0 armor. Maybe if Yuma was ready to take that fight, he would have been there as well, and Yuma will certainly make this Alk hurt. He's about to finish off his Deso, then the Wraith King is going to be, honestly, just a better Alchemist at this stage of the game. Really, the game for DogChamp is going to completely change once Stonebank gets the Blink Dagger plus the AC, and suddenly you are not really under threat by anybody, and they will find Stonebank, but BKB's about to come back, and then he just walks. Need to separate for the hook? No.
Oh, man. El Misho, I mean...
It's a big horse.
Yeah, you can always just say it's his fault for stepping in front of it, but that happens way too often with the clock players. Your teammates aren't always aware of your exact location, especially in relation to where they're standing themselves. So Gardic, Probably a little bit upset that he misses on that one, but they're just going to have to try and regroup. The problem is Yuma's getting hit up here in the middle lane. That arrow actually didn't connect, though, but Vitali's going to try and make a move anyway. He goes in. There's going to be the ep. Actually, he didn't go for the epi. He faked out the channel. They're able to take down Bloody Nine either way, but now the buyback's coming in. They threw a Dream Coil down onto Stonebank, but this just feels way too broken up for them. They need to try and fall back now as... Oh, Vitali able to get off a stun. Ryoya, though, still alive, trying to fight his way through this. Vitali's now the one in trouble. Stunned up by the concoction. Starstorm comes through. Yarn picks up the kill, and they know Gardic is probably still in the pit. He does have the hookshot now. Can he hit a creep? Does he even try right now? He might not get the chance. He's going to get hit up by the Nightmare. There's the unstable concoction. Gardic will be taken down. Meanwhile, back mid, fight's still going. We're not done. Elmisho trapped up by speed. Atos into Pit of Malice. And, well, I mean, I say we weren't done. We should have been. Hokori, I'm not entirely sure why they didn't just kind of back away when it was clear that the first round of fighting wasn't going to go their way.
Yeah, and in that fight, that was their opportunity to find the Alchemist without his BKB, but they lose sentry control, they lose vision, they aren't able to stick on that hero for nearly long enough. At the same time, Analog is running for his life there. It's a nice phase shift dodge out, and nice turn onto the Bane.
He
It's a
did
really
start
easy
the
kill for
Fiend's
him.
grip. That
Yeah.
sucks. You almost kind of wish he had just been sort of stunned up before he even got the chance, because now it's on cooldown for, well, quite some time. With the Bane dead and the Fiend's grip threat removed, they're looking to group up for mid. This tier 1 tower is still standing nearly 20 minutes in, but, well, Yuma can act as the battering ram. He's got the armor reduction, he's got the skeletons to help out. His teammates, though, kind of do want this engagement. They're trying to get onto Stonebank. They will push him away. That snaps the coil, but Stonebank, very disciplined, not going to pop the BKB.
Yeah, and getting this tower, it's just the beginning. Once Yuma gets his Blink Dagger, then it's going to be a matter of whether he can stay onto either the Bane or the Murano, who will die incredibly fast here. This is also quite a smart choice. Unfortunately, neither Analog or Vitali can really help all too much. It is still kind of just a whatever Roche, but with the hookshot, they have to be a little bit scared. But what a Fiend's Gate. Speed.
Well, now Stonebank just makes the move, use it as a distraction. They're in onto Yuma. They're going to take down his first life. Vitali, though, trying to channel out the ult. He's going to jump in, hitting up two. Yarn taking down first. Yuma, well, coming back up, but he's coming back up into a whole hell of a lot of hate. They lock him down. They finish him off. And if you're Vitali, I mean, it's a nice play. It's a lot of damage. You very nearly kill the Storm. If he does finish Ryoya, then we're talking about an entirely different fight. But since he doesn't get that kill, the decision to leave Yuma unprotected for his second life comes back to sort of bite him in the ass, and now they're going to look for even more. Stonebank gets a stun onto Elmisho. Ryoya makes the jump in onto Vitali. They're going to root him up inside of that Pit of Malice as well. Vitali really doesn't have any way out of here. They're going to clean him up. Elmisho actually did not die. Stonebank wasn't able to finish him off, but they get the far more valuable kill between the two, and now they're going to look for the puck. Unstable concoction in. The Analog's dead, and at this point, there is no resistance to this Roche attempt that I think they can pull off anymore.
I don't even know. I guess they will just try to force it with the acid spray. It's not the fastest for DogChamp. It's gonna suck a little bit to actually make this happen, but it's just such a messy fight. It takes so long. They didn't have anything to dump on top of that epicenter. It was really just Vitali kind of by himself there, and unless you're getting a lot of damage from that Illuminate, it's where you're looking at Elmisho and you are wondering, at least I am wondering, if he had just a little bit more damage, or if Gardic was able to steal it, and maybe Gardic steals it? No. Oh, it's so close, but no dice.
But I mean, you're a pause 5 clockwork. You can't not try that play, right?
Yeah,
It's just
you gotta go for it.
Yeah.
You gotta go for it.
no world in which the clockwork does not make that attempt. So he's not even dead for that long. 15 seconds on the sideline, so he'll be right back up. The problem is, well, Hokori now have to deal with the Alchemist twice now, and that has been a struggle for them so far, killing him off, and it's going to get harder because he should have enough money now to just buy out that plate mail and finish off the AC. So a situation where Yuma's going to try and jump in, still doesn't quite have the Blink Dagger yet, but presumably he will have that soon, but he blinks into a fight, and that AC makes it that little bit harder for him to find those quick and easy kills. Then he's stuck in the middle of engagement.
Yeah, and not just the Alk, but just making the entire lineup tankier. At the same time, you're probably going to see Yarn finish up the Wraith Pact, and then Well, what are you going to do if you're Hokori? It's going to become a game of cat and mouse where you need to find the supports first. You need to somehow dodge out that pit of malice. Speed has been so obnoxious. It basically means that Vitaly goes in, he dies. If there is a pit ward in the fight, unless you get a BKB on Vitaly, and he's looking for it, but it's so far away, especially if he stops along for these boots of travel. Don't think he should even, but oh, they got him. Into the arrow, into a dead Sand King.
Just too many abilities for DogChamp to just sort of chain together there, and Vitaly, well, this is a bit interesting. Looking at his quick buy, he's got Boots of Travel and a BKB. Honestly, at this point, feels like the Boots of Travel aren't going to do him quite as much good, but, well, he's not exactly imminently close to either one of those items, so see what decision he makes. If he can scrounge up some more money, the problem is, as this game goes on, Vitaly's going to have less and less farming priority because Analog's got to catch up too, and Yuma, well, is trying to sort of keep pace as best as he can. So fewer and fewer opportunities, it feels like, are going to go the Sand King's way.
Yeah, and even though, there is a 10,000 gold and a deficit between Yuma and the Alchemist, you've also got Speed, who is just as farmed, who is just as annoying, who is just as powerful a hero on that Pit Lord. And I think that's unfortunately where Yuma has to make almost an impossible decision. Do you go for a BKB next and then don't have to deal with the pit, you don't have to deal with the stuns, you have to just bank on the fact that you could do something in that timing, or do you get the AC because you severely lack damage in the lineup and you have to rely on the magic side to carry things? There's no good choice. You're going to lack something. You would need both to really make this work. It's just not enough time that I think DogChamp is going to give over to you. Even though this hasn't felt like the most aggressive Aegis here, well, they're going to go mid. They're going to get this tier 2. They'd love to get the top tier 1 first just because the glyph is available right now. They don't want to give that refresh over to your opponents just yet, but with the glyph used on the tier 2 like this, now DogChamp are going to be eyeing up high ground for sure.
Stonebank just sort of acting as the battering ram here. With the ult, he can just heal through the tower shots. His teammates will sit back and wait and see if somebody comes up. Yuma, he is going to make the move, but really much of a move to actually be made there is Vitaly. Thought for a moment he would consider jumping in, but Stonebank's still not an easy kill, and that would just be the Aegis that they burn away. But for a little bit of a moment there, they were pushing their way forward. It's just not a great fight for them unless they get really the perfect initiation.
Yeah, and who is the perfect initiation even on at this point? It's most likely the Storm Spirit, but then you have to have enough in the tank to kite away from the Alchemist and then not get caught by the Pit Lord. It just feels like this team fight is so complicated if you're Hokori. So many aspects need to go right. It's where the ease of execution just so heavily favors DogChamp. Their spells are just so much easier to use, and I think Stonebank is looking most likely. Ooh, he killed the Wraith Pact from El Misho, so now your call's not going to have that available to him for any of these defenses. But yeah, with the Reaver, we got the overwhelming blink. Now they're really planning on just keeping you caught and stuck around forever.
Spotted out Analog for a moment there, but no, Stonebank's not really going to be able to make anything with this. That's a self-stun, but no significant consequences as Garda gets taken down. But now Vitaly, he might be in even more danger. There's going to be the Nightmare coming out into the arrow. Speed TP's his way over as well. Vitaly is not going to be able to make it out. He's rooted up, taken down. Meanwhile, Ryoya actually zipped all the way over looking for El Misho, and he did find him. Mikado, trying to hide in the trees, is not able to get himself out. DogChamp now really putting their opponents on the back foot, keeping them off balance as much as possible, and in that instance, you don't get Yuma, you don't get Analog, but you don't really need to find those kills right now. You just need to find enough to keep Hokori scared.
Yeah, and again, you've got this Alk top lane who didn't bat an eye while his teammates were all over there, and it's timed up so purposefully with the cart, so even though the puck is making a break for the waves, even though the glyph would kill the cart, the tier 2 is sure to fall, and that's where the wave coming in mid, DogChamp are just filling the space in the map. There's just not really that much you can do if you're Hokori right now. At least the Aegis will expire in a second here, but the question right now is, can you farm to fix your issues? Can you do really anything the later this game goes on, or are you farming towards this point where the game is not really going to matter? I mean, Vitaly got his boots of travel finished. That's great, but give another 5-10 minutes. Is that going to matter? And Bloody Nine, well, that's insane. Gets the grip on the puck. No lane ward, nothing. Just in the nighttime, a slow reaction from the puck, and then a zip from Ryoya all the way in the triangle. Because Storm can do that, because that's fair. And then back bottom, the Fiend's Gate, they're not going to be ready for this. They need to leave. Hokori need to run.
Horseman's coming. Amisha gets taken down first. Gardic, that's an interesting hook. It does connect onto B9. The problem is it hooks him directly into Ryoya's line of fire, and they did not identify where the other side of that Fiend's Gate was. In fairness to them, they didn't have any way of knowing, but ET, if you don't have any way of knowing, maybe you don't push in like that. They just kind of ran to their death, and now high ground is just going to get taken away. Tier 3 is already gone, and DogChamp should not be stopping before they've taken at least one lane.
They are able to do this with complete confidence, and honestly, they're holding on to their Glyph right now. Glyph could be a difference maker here with the tower contributing a lot of damage as well, especially for the supports. That's something that neither Yorin or Bloody Nine would be able to put up with, but it's where Speed and Stonebank, they're so strong, they're so capable, they're so ready. Ryoya also just finished up an Orchid. He has that silence if he needs to. He can make it happen. And Vitaly, there he goes.
Okay. Is there enough damage here? They will take down B9. That's a solid start, but they're going to need more. They need to deal with Stonebank, who just 1v1s Yuma. That's a pretty easy kill for him. Meanwhile, Gardic's hook off the mark. Not going to hit onto anything, and now they're just trapped inside. Yuma taken down. No buyback available. Vitaly very low in HP as well. They're going to clean him up too, and outside of the base, yeah, Gardic was just trying to sort of do as best as he could to dance, but it's not going to work. He'll be picked off. They'll clean up Elmisho as well, and at this point, I mean, there's one or two buybacks, ET, but yeah, what are they going to do? That's the GG called. Hokori will throw in the towel. DogChamp with another 2-0 sweep here as they will advance to round 3.
Yeah, and again, it's just a very clean game from DogChamp. They kind of just get to walk over their opponents yet again here. Kind of the SA Slayers right now as it stands, but I think the Alchemist, it was an interesting way to take this draft, but at the end of the day, I think the rest of the lineup would have been capable enough, no matter what hero Stonebank ended up on. I think the Alch just ended up being the issue that Hokori could not deal with, but for the longest time, Ryoya, Speed, Bloody Nine, and Yaren just kind of did their job. They were on the other side of the map. They were making plays happen. I think really the biggest issue for Hokori here is just this pit ward getting through in the fashion it did. Not only does it have a great matchup versus every single core on Hokori's side, it's impossible to play versus it until you get BKBs, and BKBs that were not built up on the Hokori side pretty much at all. It felt like they could play until DogChamp got theirs, but once DogChamp got their BKBs on the Pit Lord, on the Storm, on the Alk, all at the same time, a team fight's impossible. You don't have heroes unless you're catching them off guard, and even if you are, you have that save from the Nightmare. Bloody Nine makes this Bane work so well every single time. You're not getting caught off guard. You're not finding the plays. You're not finding the mistakes from your opponents here. And DogChamp, they kind of just death ball you again. I think really it's the issue that comes also from this puck in the first phase. Can puck really exist in a game where 30% of your damage is already knocked off by Wraith Pact with every fork getting it? I feel like this hero is just not even a factor anymore.
And unfortunately, it's a bit of a repeat of what I was talking about for them in game number 1, the struggle that they had in their previous series against Wildcard. They had this lineup that has some damage and has some teamfight strength sort of built into it, but then they don't necessarily itemize in a way that allows them to keep pushing that forward. And then, as you say, the BKBs come out, and all of a sudden you can no longer rely on your team fight strength either to just keep people locked down, and you just straight up lose. I mean, Yuma, he does the best he can building up damage, but outside of the Witchblade, Analog didn't have much. Vitaly, I still don't know about those boots of travels that he went for. So once the immediate threat of the lockdown goes away because of the magic immunity, Hokori just aren't ready to transition.
Yeah, you get outpaced, you get pushed around, you don't really get all too much of a fun game of Dota, if I'm being honest. I feel like Hokori are going to be kind of kicking themselves here. And unfortunately, even though you have this great player on your coddle, you just have a puck to make it work. It's not that Pango, it's not that Storm, it's not that same power spike that I think we were seeing earlier today. It just doesn't gel nearly as nicely. And I think DogChamp very deservedly get their win. And with teams, especially like DogChamp, as close as they were in the standings, I feel like an outcome like this was not really that unlikely. Because again, even though this team came from the lower bracket here, DogChamp was what, 1-2 wins off from making that upper bracket. These teams on paper really are just that close. And I think that's where this series, it also proves that DogChamp, once they seed into that playoff bracket, it's a completely different DogChamp. The DogChamp that was giving up games in group stage, even though again with their stand-in situation, it feels like they are really solidifying things.
And we said a similar thing about Infamous after their victory earlier today. Once you hit that playoff bracket, these teams are able to get themselves into a much more focused and disciplined mindset. They're playing at a higher level, and obviously you see the results. They've won 4 straight games to open up their playoff run. So this is what we want to see from DogChamp. Of course, who knows entirely what this lineup is going to look like come sort of DPC time, what with the stand-in situations, but the fact that they're still able to put up these sorts of performances, even with players sort of coming and going, is incredibly impressive.
Yeah, and we'll see. The future is kits. We'll see what that's actually able to do. And hey, it's their victory lap, right? They're in Div 2 now, so if they're ever going to just wash the board, we'll see what they're actually going to be able to do. They're going to tear up Div 2, I can already tell.
Hoping for the best from them. In the meantime, we do have an interview being lined up here. I believe we do have Yaren, who we're going to be speaking with. So we're going to get that set up, get Yaren in here in really just probably a minute or so. So don't go anywhere just yet. Winner's interview is coming your way, so stick around. We will have Yaren in here just as quickly as we can. There we go. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to BTS Pro Series 11. We are ready to go with our winner's interview, pardon me. We've got Yaren of Team DogChamp here to talk with us, so get the pleasantries out of the way first. Yaren, congratulations on the win, and thanks for coming to talk to us.
Thank you. Pleasure to be here.
You don't have to lie to us.
It's fine to call me Winter too. I play that hero a lot. It's alright.
So, I want to ask you sort of first thing here, because most maybe immediately relevant to that Game 2 victory, the Alchemist pick that you guys went for was something, frankly, neither ET nor myself were sort of looking at in the draft. So, can you walk us through sort of the thought process when you picked up that hero?
Yeah, that hero has been picking up pace, especially in EU pubs. It's been picked a lot, and it wins a lot as well. And I think it counters sort of heroes that like Wraith King or Dirge, because you just get so much gold from the zombies. So the moment I saw Wraith King and I saw like that they don't have good burst, like they have pack clock, really slow damage. So I was like, yeah, just calc and let's win this in 20 minutes. So it was basically mostly my call. The others objected except Stonebank. And I was like, no, just pick it. Just trust me. Just trust Stonebank. I've played EU pubs all day. I know this hero is amazing. Just pick it. And then they trusted us and we went for it. And yeah.
Yeah, obviously the results were pretty spectacular. So, pretty impressive call from you. And speaking of calls, I want to ask you about this one as well, because you're playing a position 4 hero, you go for the Wraith Pact. We're seeing almost everyone in that role sort of pick that item up. What are your thoughts about Wraith Pact? Do you love this item, or is it just it's too good to ignore, so you have to build it every time?
I don't know how to explain it exactly how I feel about it, but it's love mixed with hate. I love having it. I hate playing against it. But yeah, I think that item is dumb and needs to be like I don't know, toned down or even removed. Like it's
Removed from the
so
game? Yeah, yeah.
so stupid. I don't know. Like a Carl buys Wraith Pack. What the fuck? Like I buy it on every hero except like Wyvern. I think.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's nice that there's new stuff, I guess, but it's also terrible because you have to play against it every game, as you said. So I
I mean,
understand.
imagine there's a Spectre in your base, like game 1. There's a Spectre with the 25 talent. So she has, I don't know, 27% reduction from the passive, and then you
Yep.
put a Wraith Pact, 57% reduction. On top of that, there's a Nether Ward. So how do you play against it? Like, there's actually no play.
There's no
That
play.
was
You lose. You
you
lose.
just lose. You just watch your buildings die. Like nothing you can.
And you did that to someone. You're not innocent here. You're guilty.
Yes,
You did.
I
I
adapt to the
mean,
meta, but the meta sucks. I hate this item.
yeah. Yeah, fair enough.
And got to do what you got to do. Gotta respect that. But um, one more before I sort of hand you over to ET on this one. You guys have won 4 straight games so far to open up your sort of playoff run here. ET and I were mentioning it looks like you guys are playing at a bit of a higher level and maybe with a bit more confidence as well compared to your group stage run. Do you feel that personally in these games? Like you guys are hitting a different level?
uh, yeah. Unfortunately, this isn't like our DPC lineup.
Right.
We're playing
Yeah.
with the 2 subs. Speed and Roya, very good players, nice to play with. But we're gonna play with Kits and Luki, which are also really good players. We wanted to play with Speed, but decided to go for 5 rats in the end. We do feel like we're playing really good. Especially, I can say about me individually that I've been like grinding a lot on pubs on my Smurf, which is like 9.6 or 7 now. So I can feel myself like growing individually, and on top of that, like the team play, it's easy like to make calls now because you understand the game better. Um, and everyone like contributes the way in. So yeah, we all feel that we're playing exceptionally good. Like I didn't expect to be top 4, if I'm honest.
Maybe you didn't expect it, but the way you guys are playing, top 4 looking pretty good, and you might be able to sort of push even further beyond that. So, Yarn, that's all I had for you. I'll hand you over to ET at this point.
9.6K is the Smurf. What's the you can flex a little bit, dude. You can let it know. Let it know. Are you 10K yet? I have no idea actually.
Not yet. I'm not on the 5 digits
Oh,
yet. I'm
come on.
close. I'm
Yeah, I know
close.
you're close,
I'm
but I
really
haven't
close.
seen like a post. Everybody makes a post, so I'm like,
You'll see
I
soon.
guess it didn't happen yet.
I'm saying 1 week, 2 weeks max. I'm getting
1
10K.
week, 2 weeks
Nice.
Yeah,
max.
I'll get it.
Okay, just in time for DPC, right? I guess the only thing I have to ask is, I am looking at your Dota buff right now. I'll be honest. Wyvern, Coddle, Pugna, Wyvern, Coddle, Pugna. You play like the same 3 heroes as a 4 player. When the patch does hit, and it is gonna hit, right, pretty soon, especially before the DPC. Do you want to see a switch up? Do you want to see every hero turn, or do you like having that hero that's like, oh, that's my signature, that's what I like to play, or do you want to see like all the melee fours come back or something like that? What do you want to see from the next patch as a 4?
I'm not a great fan of the melee fours because I don't think they lane that good, and I like laning.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think the way I play is like I always every patch I have like my I don't know 4 or 5 heroes that I really like to play. Like the first DPC season, it was like I don't know Lion, Rasta, the setup heroes, and then
Mm-hmm.
it was like Coddle, Hoodwink, I don't know something like that. So every patch I have like heroes. I really hate melee heroes. I can play them, but I hate the way they lane and stuff. I fucking hate it. Sorry for that.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I hope they don't return.
You use it
Go
whatever you want to.
Rangers.
Go range heroes. You don't
Yeah.
want it to be bad. I mean,
Yeah.
do you hate that from a patch whenever like your best heroes get nerfed or something gets changed and then you have to deal with it as a pro? Because I mean, as a pro, right, you don't really get a choice. You don't get the luxury of just being like, I don't like this. I'm gonna ignore it, right?
Yeah, I mean, I play whatever is meta most of the time, unless like melee heroes. Like, I hate them. And yeah, but every patch I find my way on
Okay,
heroes
so
because
a
I'm
meta
pretty
slave,
good on. Yeah,
meta slave till the end, but no
yeah,
melee heroes. Yarn hates melee heroes. I mean, that's the button.
yeah. Don't ban melee heroes, guys. No.
Don't ban. It's a waste. It's a complete waste. Don't do it.
Complete
He's not gonna
waste.
do it. He's
Just
not
keep
gonna do
banning Wyvern.
it. Just keep banning Wyvern and hope for the best. But thanks, dude. It's always a pleasure talking to you.
Yeah, same guys. Thank you for having me. See you guys. Have a good night.
The cams break.
Cams break. They always do, and as they always will until the end of time, or I get better at production, which is
hate melee heroes. I hate melee heroes.
so much hate for the play heroes. I mean,
I'm the opposite. I like melee. I
you're
hate
also a Viper
projectile
player
speed.
though, so like, you're wired differently, man.
I just hate things that are. I enjoy things that aren't fun, and I hate things that are broken. So really, am I the worst?
Eh,
Okay, get us out of here,
sure,
Caleb. Get
yeah.
us out of here. Beam us up.
I'm not giving you it out. You gotta own up to your Dota play. But yeah, Thank you very much to Yaren for coming and talking to us. Congratulations to DogChamp as I said, 4 straight wins. They move on to round 3. They'll play up against Infamous tomorrow afternoon. I don't know if that's the first or second series, but that will be on the schedule no matter what. There will almost certainly be a tweet with the actual schedule on it in case. So, congratulations to them. Commiserations to Hokori. They join Infinity as the 2 squads that we said goodbye to today. So they are both eliminated, but at least they've got that DPC tour to gear up for and now look forward to. So that is going to do it. We'll be hopping on out of here in just another couple of minutes. As I said, got 2 more series tomorrow. Same start time, 1 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern. You're on really either side of the country. If you're somewhere in the middle in America, you don't get to know the time. It's just the way it works. You're either on East Coast or West Coast. Everything else in the middle doesn't exist, basically. So, what was I talking? Right, yeah, Dota tomorrow. We're gonna be here. Hope you join us as well. I will stop rambling now as best as I can, and we will. So for myself and for ET, thank you all so much one last time for watching. We'll see you tomorrow afternoon.